I'd like to call this meeting of the Architectural Review Board and City Planning Commission to order. It's Thursday, the 21st of August, 2025 at 6 p.m. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call, please.
Wacky,
Here.
Hunter, Stocko,
Here.
Boardman,
Here.
Geisling, Minell,
Here.
Schroeder.
Here. We've got the minutes of our July 31st meeting. Did everyone get a chance to review those? Any questions or corrections?
Move they be approved as written and distributed.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Our first item is Steve Flynn is the applicant. Tim Flynn is the agent for EnviroCraft LLC, 950 County Road H. We've got a public hearing, which we'll start with. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Planning Commission of the City of Elkhorn on August 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard in the council chambers, city administration offices, 311 Seymour Court, Elkhorn, Wisconsin, for the purpose of hearing all interested parties, their attorneys or agents with respect to the application submitted by Steve Flynn, EnviroCraft LLC, for a conditional use permit to allow outdoor storage of trucks and equipment located at 950 County Road H. The property is more precisely identified by the following tax parcel ID, YVSE00017C1A. Is there anyone that would like to be heard on this matter? Asking again, would anyone like to be heard? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and move on to the item. Who wants to take this one?
I can take this. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Allison. Thank you.
Wonderful. So Steve Flynn is the applicant for EnviroCraft LLC. EnviroCraft is a landscaping company that's currently operating out of the city of Elkhorn currently, I believe over on Deer Road. They are requesting approval of a conditional use permit for outdoor storage in conjunction with their landscaping company that they will be moving over to 950 County Highway H. I believe they're currently leasing, and recently CUNIS put 950 County Highway H up for sale. So they would like to purchase that building, and I believe they're under contract to do so. So the landscaping component of their business is a permitted use, but in the M1 zoning district, all outdoor storage of items does require a conditional use permit. They are not making too many changes to the existing building or layout or configuration. I believe CUNIS right now is using that as an RV storage area. EnviroCraft is proposing to clean up the property a little bit, improve the facade, do some new paint, some new landscaping, and they would like to fence in the area that they will be keeping materials in. So they have a diagram that Matt's showing on the screen. They're going to put a fence around the entire property to kind of screen everything from view. So really they will have outdoor storage, but they are only proposing outdoor storage behind that fence. So at this time, I am recommending approval of the conditional use permit with several conditions listed in my staff report.
Does anyone have any questions for Allison or? Any comments?
No, it looks like an improvement to the building and surroundings around it, for sure. No. I don't have any.
I don't believe the applicant is here. Oh, here are, oh,
There he
okay. Any problems with the conditions or?
No, we'll definitely follow the conditions and we look forward to improving the property as
Okay.
it's currently.
All righty, great.
I make a motion to approve, and including the conditions that Allison has listed.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. You're all set. This will move on to council for final approval.
Great, thank you guys. Thank you for
Okay,
your
you
time.
bet. Next, we have Mark Newman, applicant Newman Farms, N 5631 Plank Road, for an ETP certified survey map discussion and recommendation. Is this you again, Allison?
Yes, thank you so much. This is a very simple extraterritorial plating certified survey map. The applicant is looking to do a farm separation, and they are right within our extraterritorial plating area. Naomi and Kapoor did do a quick review of the proposed CSM, and they had no comments. Everything looked good. As I mentioned, this is on Plank Road, and the zoning is Walworth County zoning A1. And the CSM to me appears to be in compliance with all of our ordinance requirements. So I would recommend approval of the ETP certified survey map.
Does anyone have any questions? Any comments? I'd entertain the motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Henry Van Dyken, Southern Lakes Recycling, 220 South Broad Street, a conditional use permit, public hearing and recommendation. Let me read my public hearing notice. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Planning Commission of the City of Elkhorn on August 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard in the council chambers, City Administration Offices, 311 Seymour Court, Elkhorn, Wisconsin, for the purpose of hearing all interested parties, their attorneys or agents with respect to the application submitted by Henry Van Dyken, Southern Lakes Recycling Incorporated, for the conditional use permit to allow a continued metal and cardboard recycling center with outdoor storage located at 220 South Broad Street. The property is more precisely identified by 3 tax parcels, YA 756-00001, YA 756-0002, and YRW 3-00004. Is there anyone that would like to be heard? Should Henry speak now, or he's the applicant?
Sure.
I think you could, right? Yeah, whoever would like to go. Yes, sir. If you'd give your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Richard Nowak. I live at 231 West Rockwell Street, which is only a few blocks away from the site here. I spoke at the last meeting. I'm retired. When I retired, I moved to the city here and love sitting outside. It's in summertime, it's very hard to just concentrate in my backyard. The noise is pretty loud. One thing I didn't mention when I was here last time, when I was a young boy, about 4 blocks away from where I lived, there was a manufacturing plant that it was called Drop Forge. They had they'd pound out molten metal, and they ran 3 shifts, and we heard banging all night long. growing up, didn't bother me. Never, didn't even think about it. We'd have people spend the night, and the next morning they'd say, how can you even sleep here with all this noise? I said, what noise? I bring that up because at the last meeting, there were several neighbors who were saying, oh yeah, the noise doesn't bother us. Yeah, if you've lived there for a number of years and had that during that time, you don't hear it. So, being the neighborhood it is, it's a nice quiet neighborhood. After 6 o'clock in the evening, can't hear anything except the birds. So I'm against it. So thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Chris?
Hi, Chris Gable, 227 West Rockwell, right next door to Rich. I'm standing here again before you because I understand what Henry is doing is providing a service to the community. It's a needed service, but not in the city limits. When I spoke last time, when I spoke to other people over the last 18 months about the issues with this facility, I was of the understanding that there may be some outstanding citations that were never followed up on and addressed with the facility. I don't know that for fact. This is what I was told. The other side of this is, yes, the security has gotten better. The attractive nuisance is pretty much gone with the stone wall and the gates and everything. That's great. But my two main questions are, when you're downtown at the traffic light, you see a sign there that says Delavan Watershed. So I'm guessing from that point south, you're in the Delavan Watershed. We don't know what got buried underneath all that concrete, what was in that soil. We don't know how that's being managed. Has the DNR been involved? Has any environmental study been done with the impact of what's happening there, what's been going on for the last 2 years, 18 months? When I raised this issue 18 months ago, when I called my alderman and I called the mayor at the time about the concerns, it was mainly based on the noise and the attractive nuisance, excuse me, and the environmental issues. Today, my issues are the environmental impact of what's going on there, and the noise continues. And I get it, progress, I get it, but it shouldn't be in the city limits. That's all I ask, is to move it outside of the city limits. Thank you.
I'll address a lot of the things. We've had a DNR permit. We deal with the DNR. They have checked. We take all the fluids out of all the vehicles and everything. We have to do reports. We actually take water samples to make sure the storm water is pure out of our manholes. We got to do that 4 times a year. And as far as the noise, I think it'll be a little better. We're going to turn our, I think it's our shear that makes a lot of noise. We're going to turn it the other direction and put it against the wall.
Henry, can you address the commission rather than the
Oh,
audience?
okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I know. Make it, I think that it'll help the noise, that the thing will be back towards the west wall more, and that part that makes the noise will be facing south, you know, which now it faces north. And, yeah, we did, the other thing we do too, you'll see refrigerators and stuff sitting, but we take them for nothing as a service, but we take the Freon out, and that's why they don't always get put in the yard right away. And I had to talk with my guys, we're gonna store them so the doors face the walls and stuff like that, so kids can't get in them and stuff like that. What else? What other questions were there? Any other questions? How's that?
This is public comment, so we may have questions for you later,
Okay,
but we'll move on. Are you good?
good.
You're done? All right. Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard for public comment? In the public hearing? Anyone? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and move on. And we always like to start with Allison.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor. So this evening you have the Southern Lakes Recycling back before you. This matter was tabled at a previous Plan Commission meeting. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for his continued metal and cardboard recycling center with outdoor storage at 220 South Broad Street. So this type of business operation allows both residents and businesses to bring in different materials to the site for payment according to the materials. Some of those common items are appliances, lawnmowers, car batteries, aluminum cans, siding, copper, etc. And as you know, the Southern Lakes Recycling Center has been in operation for several years and has been located right here in the city at this location. But we've noticed in the past few years specifically, it's grown and it expanded pretty significantly. So now they are coming in for this conditional use permit, an attempt to come into compliance with all of our local zoning regulations and be a legal conforming property. Right now, there's no conditional use permit on file for this business or this type of operation on this site. So you'll see that I did include some historical imagery just showing kind of the difference of what the property looked like in 2015 all the way up to 2024. You can see that over those years, that outdoor storage from 2015, from the site being almost entirely empty to 2024 has drastically increased. So you can see that through those aerial images. One thing I wanted to note with this conditional use permit review is that the property owner has built this fence or wall or barricade to help with noise control and screening from that outdoor storage. However, that wall or fencing, whatever you may want to call it, does not currently comply with our ordinance requirements, and no permits were obtained to do that. So I would refer to this as kind of a fence. That's kind of what they're using it as, a fence to keep screening from adjacent properties. And the Plan Commission, per our ordinance, does have the authority to either approve or deny this fencing material per section 17.7-2 pertaining to fences. Either the zoning administrator or Plan Commission can review the proposed fence and requested fence, and if it is consistent with the requirements of the chapter of good quality material or needed or meets the goal or intent of the area, then the Plan Commission could sign off on this. So I wanted to make you aware of that so that you could review that and determine if you feel that this wall that was constructed or this fence or screening is adequate. Then moving on, I just put at the bottom of my report that if staff were to recommend approval of the conditional use permit, there's a lengthy list of conditions that I would like the Plan Commission to consider. First, of course, that the project be developed in accordance with the plan of operations. All vehicles and equipment used at the site or for on-site operations must remain on improved surfaces. The operation shall not locate, store, discharge, or permit the discharge of any treated, untreated, or inadequately treated liquid, gaseous, or solid materials of such nature, quantity, toxicity, obnoxiousness, or temperature that might run off, seep, percolate, or wash, or be harmful to human, animal, plant, or aquatic life. The applicant shall provide reimbursement to the city for all costs incurred by the city for review of this conditional use. All junked vehicles, vehicle parts, equipment, scrap metal piles, appliances, refuse, machinery shall be fully screened from public view as this property is very close to residentially zoned property. Property shall include provisions for the donation or drop off of materials. I believe that, residents or businesses can drop items off. And so if they can, provisions should be posted for the placement and donation of those materials outside the hours of operation in order to prevent materials from being abandoned on the site. Those provisions should include posting of appropriate signs, provision of an unmanned drop bin, or other suitable measures as determined as necessary. So that way we never have items that are getting dropped off after hours that are out in the open and remain unattended to. I have a condition in here that states shall maintain operating hours of, and I kept that blank so that we could have discussions about appropriate operation hours for this type of business. I have shall not exceed noise levels as specified in the City of Elkhorn ordinances. Site shall be maintained free of litter and undesirable materials, cleaned of debris on a daily basis. The applicant shall be required to install and maintain a Knox box and adequate access for emergency services. And then, of course, the property shall comply with all of the zoning ordinances, lighting ordinances. Property owner shall be required to apply for a fence permit, and then any other conditions that we may discuss this evening.
Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? Comments? Go ahead, Ken.
All right. I've been, Henry, I've been taking my beer cans and pop cans there for, I don't know how many. Tom Fendrick used to be there then. But it's truly a success story of what you've done to take it from there to where it is today. Unfortunately, as I look at the conditions and everything that you have grown, but the property, the location hasn't. And it's at a point now of where with all the outside stuff and everything, I think that you've done a great job growing the business. And I understand you're going to continue to grow it, but I think you've run out of space where you're at already. That's what all I have. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions for you, Allison. First off, I don't know if you can hear me. Microphone's not working here.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so just a couple questions. One, for staff recommendation about the project having to be closed to going to plan of operations. Does that include, I noticed on the drawing of the application, they said that they were going to keep all the refrigerators and large metal items would be kept within the areas designated by arrows on that map of the application. Is that part of the plan of operations?
Not specifically a part of the plan of operations. The plan of operations is a document that gets filled out. But we could also include a provision that the applicant is to follow the site plan as presented in their conditional use permit application as well.
And then in terms of recommendation M, when it says the property owner shall be required to apply for a fence permit, I would think we'd want to say that the property owner should be required to obtain a fence permit. And then, one thing I think that, this is an issue that I know first came up not long after I started with the city about, we met with the property owner, business owner, and, I know during that meeting, he acknowledged that they started smashing cars out there recently. So, this business has been in the city for a long time, but it was truly a recycling center, i.e. cardboard and small metal items. It was never smashing vehicles, and that's really been a change in the last, I think, 5 or so years, which they acknowledged in that meeting. And you can certainly see that from the pictures. The aerial images are pretty stark for 2015. So, and just, I know one of the recommendations you talks about that they have to comply with the city's, city code and noise ordinance. Well, I'm just wondering how that's gonna be interpreted, because, you know, right now, under our city code, it says that, you know, it'd be a public nuisance to create any loud, disturbing, or unnecessary sounds or noise which kind of reasonably annoy or disturb a person's ordinary sensibilities in or about any public streets, alleys, or parks or private residences. And that's for any zoning classification. So I'm just curious, you know, how is that going to be interpreted with respect to, you know, if you've got residences who are blocks away who are concerned about the noise, which, you know, they are taking apart cars out there. How are we going to interpret and apply that?
Tim, I think what you read on his application is what he's been operating for years as far as paper and cardboard and small metal items. Application does not say anything about he wants to crush vehicles or crush any other metal objects. You know, if that wasn't part of it, I would approve that conditional use as long as there was no crushing of automobiles.
I guess, my comment would be, in that area, we have, Viant. It's down on Centralia, backed up to Westward Drive. About 5 years ago, they changed their manufacturing process and had to install these huge exhaust vents because they had to cool that plant 24 hours a day. When I was alderman there, I probably got 20 phone calls about the noise from those vents. They did some screening, they planted some trees, but it's still loud. So is our standard that if a business changes its process, expands, does whatever, we should close that factory down now and 100 people should lose their job? Or take the fairgrounds, for example, we get a ton of noise complaints. All of a sudden they decided to change their process a little and they had some rodeos and stuff there. Should we have closed the fairgrounds down? Because they're making a little more noise than they used to, doing things they didn't do 20 years ago. So I'm all for conditions. I'm all for making it quieter, hours of operation. But I think we're going down a slippery slope here if a guy trying to make a living's been there 45 years and his neighbors are all happy with it, the people that adjoin the property. And we did have some residents here, not just business people. I'd like to see some tough conditions on his conditional use permit, and we can work that out. But any talk of moving him out of the city, where does he go? And how does that work? That's my 2 cents.
I'm all in favor of limiting hours of when the stamping or crushing can be done. And, yeah, the noise barrier is a big deal. I wouldn't want to live next to it. I'm not saying to move him or whatever. Done a thing, been great for the city, whatever. But hours of operation should be limited and the noise should be limited. Or somehow he can do that.
I guess if you're talking hours of operation, I'm thinking, is 8 to 4 unreasonable? No Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, we thought, but we're 8 till 4:30 is what we normally been running for years, but.
Okay, well, I don't think that's a big deal, but no crushing, no whatever they call it, on Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, I mean, we just, we're open 8 to 4 hours on Saturday, but.
You can bring stuff in.
Yeah, it's not, and as far as crushing cars, all we do is take an excavator, push the hoods down and we load it on a trailer, but it's not like it's a big noise maker there. It's when steel gets cut, I think, is when it's making a lot of noise, or when steel falls, bigger stuff falls on the ground, it makes a lot of noise, and we're also gonna finish the wall further down on the west side, further north. That'll make it higher yet. We're still working on, we gotta pour some better base. pour some concrete to get that built up too.
Well, and that brings to the point, Allison, is there a height requirement then on the fencing he'd be putting up?
Well, the telegraphing of noise is not a standard. The people to the north don't hear it because of the buildings. People to the west hear it. I'm a mile and a half away. I'm up on Fourth Avenue. I can hear it. Not every day, but at times I can hear it at my house, a mile and a half away. It doesn't belong in the city road.
Are you sure?
Period.
Are you sure? It's me all the time. I mean, a dump truck pulls ahead and slams this back door, it makes a lot of noise.
I mean, I'm just considering going by what we call fencing. And this really isn't considered fencing under our standards. But we have a height requirement on fencing. If he added and went higher, is that like some, concession we'd have to make, or how's that
Yeah.
work?
Our current ordinance allows a 10-foot fence in commercial districts. It's referred to as like a security fencing, and then we do have the provision that allows either myself or the plan commission to make exceptions on other styles of fencing.
What he's using right now, I don't think is intended for fencing. I think it's too high already. If it isn't stable on the ground, it's gonna tip, fall either way. I don't know how much of a noise that it restricts. It's concrete. I think that if we do move forward, that's not the fencing I think that would be there.
Yeah, but it's also, it's a retaining wall. Those blocks actually, they intertwine and
Yeah,
they're
I know.
grooves, and it's like, we have it that heavy, because you can't knock it over, especially with our, we store stuff against it. Yeah, and that's the reason we went that way. I mean, we put a cyclone fence up, it wouldn't do very good,
And I think in the conditions too, that it has to be below the fence. Allison, am I right? Nothing would be over the top of the fence as far as storing?
Right, it would be the goal to have everything screened from public view. So it would be, the intent of the fencing would be to block the view of everything. I wouldn't necessarily want to see, piles of scrap metal or anything go beyond the top of their screening.
And then it's gonna be spread out too, right? I mean, if you can't go up, you gotta go up. And then you're running out of space again.
No, actually, since we put that, we did expand the yard. We don't run out, we got a lot more space than we used to.
Okay.
We have plenty of room,
Does the city have a decibel reading of what is the maximum noise that's allowed before it becomes ticketable?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, we don't. As far as I know, it's just the unreasonable person standard, which that's part of the reason I'm asking, because obviously, that's a different interpretation. Depending on who the person is, so.
I think we got into that with the fairgrounds, did we not? That they were taking a level reading in one area and the noise was going in the other area. So I don't know how good, but they did do that at the fairgrounds. I know that. Music. Data readings.
Yeah. One question I had, something, and the conditions are, I was uncertain how it would work out. Allison was talking about having a site where you could do off hours drop-offs. How does that work for your business, Henry?
I don't even want to drop. When I quit the after-hour drop-offs, it's like, it's something we did before, but we didn't need to put up signs.
Well, if you were required to do it though, you could make it
Yeah,
work.
that'd be good. I would like that almost. then I can tell them if that's the way it is.
Well, I think Allison, correct me, that the condition was that he would have signage and an area for off-hour drop-offs. Am I understanding that right?
I want to put signage up, no.
No.
Or otherwise not allow it. Yeah, that,
So it's
as
not
long
allowed-
as, right, not allowing it is okay. There should be maybe some signage then installed,
Okay.
just stating that no items should be dropped or left unattended, just so that, somebody doesn't drive by and dump off a couple of refrigerators that sit over, the weekend or overnight.
Okay, that clarifies that for me. I didn't
I
understand.
like that idea. Like I've been fighting my Elkhorn or anything, because we started doing it and then it's like, so no, it'd be great.
End up with mattresses and a couch, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you're gonna end up with. Yeah. Back to garbage.
Garbage also, then, we talked to the cops because they were stupid enough to leave an address inside of it, That's what's like, but now the fence is up, they don't seem to be a lot better. I've been putting all cameras up too.
The condition above that one is that all the vehicles, equipment, scrap and all that shall be screened from public view, and you've done a lot of that, whatever we want to call that, fencing, or what did you just call it?
Retaining wall.
Retaining wall. But your gate, and I think it's great you installed a gate, probably to help with the off-hour drop-offs.
We can put things in the.
You can screen that gate,
Screen it,
because it's wide open now, you can see in there. Okay, but you could make that not transparent or whatever, clear. Okay,
Allison, is the retaining wall the same as a fence? I don't believe it is.
I would consider it as a fence. We don't have specific retaining wall provisions in the city ordinances.
It's a multi-purpose fence retaining wall.
yeah.
What about those retaining walls they use on the freeways, like Milwaukee or whatever, that cuts the sound from the housing right on the other side of the freeway? If that'd be a viable thing to cut down noise instead of, I think that's dangerous. I don't care what you say. It can be tongue and groove, whatever.
I agree.
You want companies, you come see it,
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to see how sturdy it is. If you said that you thought it was dangerous?
The cement things you have now,
Yeah.
I would think at some point it could be whatever. If you're gonna stack even higher, the weight of that wall is,
Yeah, they're wide though, and then we can tell them off these, they're really, yeah. I'd like to, because you come look at it.
I've seen it.
I can take an excavator, push it.
I was just suggesting the other because,
Yeah.
it stops the noise. Those are quite high that they have.
And they're good looking from the outside.
Yeah,
Better looking
than that.
You can cover the outside with steel or something if you want to make it look better, maybe all flat or something,
but you'd work with us on the fencing, whatever we have to do.
Yeah.
To meet the code and maybe get it looking better.
I think the noise is, if you don't like the way it looks, don't drive by it. But I really think the noise is what the main complaint that we heard. I didn't have anybody say that, oh yeah, it's above, the wall, or there was no gate. But I think the noise, and I don't know what more we can do to get it to a level. Ours is one thing, but it's, that doesn't solve the problem with the noise. It just puts it into hours that you're gonna have to put up with the noise. So I don't know what you can do. You're the one that's crushing the metal. I don't know how you could make it better. where all I'm looking for is so that the people that live in and around there, Henry, you know, don't have to put up with something. They pay taxes, you know, they bought their homes. And, I'm just looking for an answer on how we can cut the noise down. You know, to a reasonable amount within reasonable hours. So
Yeah. I
that's,
don't think we make a lot of noise all the time. It's just when certain things drop and happen. It's not like, you know.
Without a conditional use permit, the crushing car should have been stopped a long time ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't know why, but I don't think there's any place in town for that crushing operation. And I hate to put a guy out there, he's got a good business, but it just doesn't belong in town, not in a residential area.
I actually saw it all. I don't know when it was here the first time. I can remember you guys. I actually saw it, you guys all to ask questions to make sure I was good, you know. And the one big thing you said was get fence up, so, yeah. That's when the other mayor went through the mirror.
So, Allison, if conditional use wasn't approved, does that shut everything down or just the stamp you're crushing?
So, I would probably defer to, our attorney to help answer this question, especially if he has anything more to add than I do. But what I would say now is I believe this use, in this property to be, a legal non-conforming operation for, the recycling center, but you can see that they have significantly expanded in the last several years. When a property is legal non-conforming, they can continue an operation that maybe wasn't permitted, or maybe the zoning ordinance wasn't established at the time that the business started their operations. And then down the road, years later, we established our zoning ordinance that makes the use legal non-conforming. And you can continue that operation, but you can never or should never expand it without coming into compliance with our current ordinance. So I believe that certain components of this site and certain components of this business operation are legal non-conforming. And if we look back into years, 40 some years down the road, there, maybe the cardboard or the can crushing, how this business started operation is permitted to continue. But that expansion that we've seen just since 2015, that really shouldn't have occurred without coming into compliance with our zoning ordinance. And if the attorney has anything to add to, that would be great.
I do. I think Allison, you did a great job of summarizing the state of the law. I think that for a non-conforming use, especially one that's been going on for 45 years or whatever, there's a certain amount of entitlement to continue that operation. But when you get into, I would call them nuisance type issues, and you're coming in for conditional use, that's where we can fine tune the permit. It doesn't have to be an either or. It doesn't have to be you either get it or you don't. It could be, yes, you get it, but we're going to have some reasonable conditions to address some of the issues that have been brought up. We talked, you've heard a lot of them already. Hours of operation, no drop off after hours. Sounds like we're pretty good on that one. The screening, I think that the issue that the council has to look at ultimately, but the plan commission tonight, is the crushing operation. That's a relatively new use, and as Allison said, that's an expansion of what you were doing for all those years, because most of the time it was all contained within your building in the past. So, I mean, if there was a condition that limited crushing or prohibited crushing, I think that's permissible if that's the cause of noise complaints. In terms of noise, what standards, I think once you permit this business to do something, it'll be very difficult to then apply your ordinance in a way that calls it a nuisance. So you have to be mindful of the fact that if you do grant the conditional use permit and you do allow outdoor storage and you do allow crushing, it's going to be really difficult to come in and prosecute a citation after that for noise that's being created from something that you're allowing to take place. So I think you just need to do some fine tuning and decide what parts of the business need to be refined a bit. And I don't know what percentage of the business is made up of the cars, and is it necessary to crush them? I don't know. Obviously, you can get more cars on a, you know.
And we don't really do that many cars. But it's not really the car crushing, it's the shear steel, and I think that's what makes more of the noise.
Okay, all right. So the fencing,
Make that shear more
right.
quieter, you know, and stuff like that also.
Yeah, I don't know anything
Put
about,
stuff around it, you know, and make that area, yeah.
if you could, yeah, kind of noise proof it a bit. And I don't know about the fencing either, if what you have, it looks like it's really sturdy, and you said that you have things leaning against it and that kind of thing. But I don't know from, you know, an engineering standpoint, is that the best material for noise suppression? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So I guess the bottom line is, I think that you are allowed some accommodation here because you're a longtime business. And I don't think anybody wants to put you out of business, but I do feel like that the Planning Commission does have authority here to fashion reasonable conditions to deal with some of the issues that the neighbors have brought up.
It sounds to me like, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but does this need to be fleshed out more, the conditions, the fencing issue, that there should be, I don't want to kick the can down the road too far, but it sounds like there's some questions that need to be answered.
I got, Henry, how long have you been operating outside? I know at the beginning, it was all inside the building, you know, maybe a little bit outside, but how long have you actually been cutting the metal or crushing the cars or whatever?
Actually, we did my whole, like, actually, in the 2000, probably since 2005 or so. But the thing is, I took a big risk, and I bought the old stock lumber building in Delavan. And then I moved all my metals over there and spent millions of dollars and everything. And then the markets just went all the crap. The paper went to bed and everything. It was a lot of China, you know, it was China, the American dollar went up, so China would send all finished steel in and would never buy no scrap back, and almost lost everything. And then, so then came back in 2016 or so, and it moved back, but it's gotten a lot bigger scale. I didn't know it was gonna get that crazy. So many people that come in, it's just, I mean, the city brings me stuff, the counties bring me stuff, all the townships bring me stuff. It's like,
I know there's a need.
It's so handy for them, you know? And all the Lyles brings me stuff, you know, all the heating, plumbing guys do. And it's just, yeah.
Because it shows in the picture in 2015,
Yeah,
there's
that's-
basically nothing out the back.
That's because I was in Delavan.
And then in 2020, there's a little bit.
Yeah.
And in 2024, she's full.
Do you still have anything in Delavan?
No, I saw it, it was, yeah. Everything was great on paper till when the markets go, hard to get rid of it. It's, rough. I was a multimillionaire in debt.
But on the application for the conditional use, it does not mention crushing and all.
Yeah, that was, Jim, that was, revised on August 1st to include, with the, here, what does it say? To include request to allow outdoor storage of automobiles, appliances, furnaces, hot water heaters, miscellaneous scrap metal to be stored. I guess it was revised to be stored outside. But not, maybe no revision on the process or the,
Do you crush or, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would like, if you guys wanna come down and see how the operation works sometime, you know.
Do you crush every day and, or cut steel and crush every
You know,
day?
We can crush it, yeah, and do whatever, yeah.
I'm just wondering if we limited days, is, you know, we got Saturday and Sunday, but if you're not crushing every day,
Well, like I said, the crushing is, yeah, crushing doesn't make that.
Or the
much.
cutting.
You just take an excavator, you push it down the top of it, it's not bad, it's more of the, it's mostly the heavy steel when it falls or when it goes into a shear. And, again, I think we can keep that a lot better by finishing the wall, and we're gonna turn the sheet around because it faces northwest now, kind of, you know. And we plan on doing it anyways, it's kind of sitting in the middle of the alley and we want to put up against the wall.
Well, again, like I say, I think my big issue is noise. And if he's gonna try to do some things to improve that, I guess we can give him some time. I don't know if the attorney thinks that's a proper way to go about it. But I mean, he's gonna have to, not just a little bit, because there's a lot of noise there. So if he thinks he can control that, give him a shot at
talking
it.
about like a probationary period
Well,
to get the machine turned and,
something in that order. I mean,
get you, I know your guys, one time we were talking and the guys can drop that metal, into the truck. It's a lot quieter if you do it in the bed of the truck versus 10 feet above.
You know, is it,
Yeah.
they went and got the wrong machine and they're just grabbing onto it and then let it fall again, and they should have went and got the bigger machine and grabbed onto it and had it done one time too, it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I just, I hate to prolong these, but I think that it would be helpful if you had, and I don't know if the city's engineer and staff could go out there, just might come up with some good ideas, and you can explain how you're going to be turning the direction of the operation around, and there can be a discussion about what exactly might work, and then come back with refined conditions that match what's going to happen on the site. And then you could have it, you're allowed now to put a time condition on the conditional use. So you could say, let's see what happens in the next 6 months or the next year, come back, and if there are still issues with certain kinds of noise, then we take it to a different level, and I feel like we should put the work in right now to try and come up with some good, reasonable conditions that address the issues, and then, see how it works. But I think if you had, it sounds like staff is pretty knowledgeable about this, but I would encourage bringing the engineer into this, because they have some noise engineers that they could bring in that might be able to give us some objectivity about it.
I think that's a good idea. I
Yeah.
think that, and maybe they've seen a situation like this before where, we can cut it 50% or cut it this, so. But again, it's no noise issue. I think he's done a lot of work in the right direction to clean it up. But unless we can get rid of the noise, I have a real problem. So eliminate it to a minimum.
I moved to table the CU until, at which time we do more research to get better answers.
I'll second that.
Do we, I agree with tabling it. I think that's a good idea, Jim. Do you want to put a time limit on it, though? That we're not just going to push this out till 2027?
No, I don't think so.
Well, let's put it on the October agenda.
If we can get the engineers.
Give you a month.
Yeah, I don't want to go like 6 months or anything, you know?
We'll come up with a plan by October. And then see what happens.
Right.
How's that? Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So I guess we'll get together with staff and we'll work it out. All right. And lastly, we've got John Donovan, Malinsky Homes for Harvest Point Apartments. Project concept review and discussion.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you have zoning for a salvage yard? Because it sounds like it's a salvage yard. And recycling,
Yeah.
I wonder.
Hmm.
Anyhow, you want me to proceed with?
But
presentation?
please do.
So in front of me here, which you do not have in your packet, and I figured I'd bring it anyways, I just want to talk a little bit of the history of the property. Valencia has owned this obviously from day one when they started Harvest Point single family and the commercial was there. I'm just going to talk about the history that I've been involved with. We've had this listed with many multiple brokers. We've had it not listed, trying to sell it ourselves. In the last 9 years that I've been with Valinsky, I think we've had close 2 serious individuals or companies that may have an interest in it for commercial. We have 5. We have split into the, we haven't legally split this, but this is a plan showing 5 different commercial sites on, that's the remaining pieces that are commercial pieces. They are not zoned commercial at this time, but we can talk about that later. Anyhow, so we had a large healthcare come to us 2 years ago. And I don't even know if they continued in the city or not. They were very close. We were negotiating an offer of purchase for 2 of the lots to do a healthcare center for the city of Elkhorn. And they had indicated to us that the budget reasons got late in the year and it's no longer in the budget. So they had won. We had a potential auto parts center come wanting one of the pieces. We just didn't feel. I guess our opinion on that was that the auto parts centers go all over these small cities and try and tie up land to see if they can take it in and then decide later if they want to move forward with pursuing an auto center park place in these cities and buildings. And we just didn't want to tie the property up because we thought there was some energy here with the healthcare and we didn't want to lose any other potential buyers. So with that said, that was about 2.5 years ago. We came up with this plan afterwards in order to show the commercial sites that we have here. I know the city has always been in a position that they don't want to give up this commercial site. I am here just exploring the possibility of apartments or a different use on this site since it's been here for over 20 years. And obviously nothing has been built. Valinsky is not in the commercial business. They will not be in the commercial business. They have lost a lot of money in the 20 years they've owned commercial businesses. I do not see this ever being office space. It may be a one-use user of some type of corporation, business, or something of that nature. But I do not see this, I don't see 5 commercial sites selling in the next 5 years in order to satisfy or move forward with some commercial business at this site. So Valinsky is here just exploring the possibilities that the city of Elkhorn would look at having apartments on all of it, except for the small piece on the north end. There's a small piece. Other than that, it would also explore the possibility of, if there's 4 major sites right off of 67 and Wisconsin Ave, that we would do 2 of the buildings instead of the 4 to leave 3 commercial parcels there for potential use in the future. So with that said, that's kind of the history that I've been here for 8.5, 9 years. We get very little phone calls. We are exploring the possibility of listing it again if we don't move forward with apartments and trying to actually just sell it and be done with it. And I just want to say something. I don't know if everybody here is aware, but our co-founders, Harry Walensky passed away 4 years ago. Frank Walensky passed away about 3 weeks ago. So we have new direction, new leadership, and it's the son of Frank. And I will say that he has been very decisive on what he wants to do. And this is one of those things. We will be moving forward with a lot of different developments than what we've done in the past. So with that said, I'm just going to go give you a little explanation on the apartment itself. I'm going to let you know right now, I think if Allison is on, we have a conflict of what I would consider a comp plan indicating this is commercial property and it is actually zoned R4, which is multifamily, predominantly multifamily. So that happened, I believe, out of a mistake, but it is zoned that. I've admitted that to Adam in the past, that I believe it was a mistake that happened in past administration when we came in with the condominiums. And they rezoned the whole parcel instead of, we had a CSM that split off both parcels and they rezoned the entire piece as multifamily. Now, I am not here to talk about the legals, nor do I want to go down that road. But they are out there and there's potential for them, but I don't think Walensky would ever move on. So with that said, we have these 4 35-unit buildings. They are pretty high-end for us. We built them in Fort Washington. We're hoping to get 5 more approved. They do have underground parking. They are 1 and 2 bedrooms. They are market rent. They have amenities. They have an exercise room. They have other things. We drop them down on the end so that the buildings look a little bit more residential and they don't have a larger mass because it would be all 3 stories. These are very successful in Fort Washington. We do need, usually, this is a little bit outside of our area, we do have full maintenance and full leasing people in our Walensky homes. We have a management team of probably anywhere from 15 to 20 people that work full-time leasing and maintaining our buildings all throughout southeastern Wisconsin. We have about 1,000 rentals just in Waukesha area, and we are expanding into Jefferson. We're expanding into Monroe and other areas. So this is one of our higher end buildings. I'm not saying that the plan is perfect. I'm not here to talk about fire and water and sewer and what else? Stormwater. That's all would come down. I'm only talking about the use tonight, and to see if there is any appetite from the planning commission to move forward with the next step, which would be planning to come back with either the planning commission in regards to preliminary drawings and things of that nature. So I think that's, the value of these buildings are about $4 million a piece once they're built. So you're just looking at the potential of anywhere from 13 to 15, $16 million of value there. We believe that, I know you've got lots of apartments that are planned. Those are all on the south side, right near the freeway. There is really nothing that I know of that's planned on the northern end for new apartments. I don't know the last time an apartment was built in the city on the north end. I assume it's been a long time. There may be reasons for that, but I'm not here to talk about those. I'm here to talk about trying to bring a quality product and backed by Valinsky, and we'll see if it has any merit to move forward to the next step. Thank you.
I know at one time in the whole build up there was apartments planned in that originally.
Yeah.
And everybody was looking for condos. And I remember they came in, Malinsky did, he came in and said, we're gonna build what the people want. So at one point, there was apartments supposed to be in the whole deal right there. So, but we never did because nobody was looking for apartments, they all wanted condos. They are always all full, so they did the right thing, you know, so.
Any thoughts, any comments? I need some feedback.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I just have some quick feedback. Elaine Ekus, I work with her, and she was looking into this too. And as far as she can find, and she's been talking to Allison as well, they're not finding that there was an actual zoning ordinance that changed it from commercial to R4. So I mean, I acknowledge that I think the land use plan says commercial use.
The land use plan to 2040 calls it use that. But
Right.
if you look at the zoning of your 2023 zoning plan, it calls out for RM4.
It shows it on the map, but apparently they've not been able to find the actual ordinance that was adopted. And there are deed restrictions that are currently in place that would prohibit it from being used for anything other than commercial. I'm just saying that and realize that you're just looking for a heads up, but I just want you to know that that's still an issue.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of all the documents that were in the packet, and I did read some of them. But I also believe, as being in business for 40 years doing this, that anything can change. People can come to agreements on amending certain documents if they need. And
Absolutely.
yes, so.
Is there a ratio of apartments versus single-family homes, that kind of thing? I believe I remember that from the meeting back when we
Probably a
did.
little blown out of the water.
Yeah,
I know your housing study that I have a copy of, and I don't know the date of it. I assume it was in 2023, but I'm not positive. Indicated the data was 2014, and it was 57% single family and like 20-some% maybe multifamily, and then just odds and ends, flexes and things of that nature. So I know it was close to 60% in 2014. But that's the only data that was in the housing study that I know.
you're saying single-family was
Single
60%?
family was 60%.
Approximately.
Close to
What
60%.
should it be? Does anyone know that?
Probably that or 65%.
So, you know, and we have both going on, you know, we've got a big single-family one, about 140 homes. So it isn't like we switch all to apartments, you know?
Right.
What would those rent for? Where would that be in the?
You know, it's hard for me, I'm not in that business.
Oh, all right.
Market rent, I would probably guess right now in Fort Washington, they're anywhere from 1,200 to about 1,600. And this is one thing that I do stress to people, and it hasn't changed. So I have a daughter that's been in apartments for the last 10 years, and I understand the wonderful amenities that every apartment owner, every apartment renter has to pay extra for. So underground parking, Valinsky does not charge separately. Parking rent, one space per unit. And most, if not all, that I've ever seen charge extra parking for rentals.
Mhm. I agree. I'm not against the concept of apartments in that area.
No, me either. I was always against it changing at all. That was, always gonna be commercial, but
Oh,
it really hasn't been moving.
that whole area was commercial at one time.
Yeah.
We've since built condos and now the next move of the condos coming that way. But that whole back part at one time, and we knew it wasn't going anywhere, so we did make a change there.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be open
The
to it.
condo project is, we've already signed the developers agreement, we'll be moving earth next week on the condo project. I put the sign up today with all the permits, so.
Great. Anyone else have any comments? I guess my concern would be, we have a limited amount of commercial space. I hate to lose anything, but I also understand that hasn't been developed in. First time I saw this was probably on planning commission 20 years ago. And at that time, it was the homes and condos behind it. And out front, it was gonna be like, big brownstone commercial buildings like Brookfield Square. And then
That was the dream.
that was the dream, and I've seen it. I think in those years, it came back 3, 4 different times, and every time it was less and less. And now it's no commercial and residential.
Yeah, the only explanation I can give you to that is that Linsky, I think when they went around, southeastern Wisconsin, and I'm dealing with every day trying to either use a different use on their commercial properties. I'm doing it in Waterford, I'm doing it in Watertown. We have the same thing where we had single-family residential as part of the main development, but we offered these commercial properties as part of it because we were on a main drag. And, you know, sometimes those things don't work. They don't. I've seen it all over the state of Wisconsin. I worked for before I came to Valencia, I worked for a developer out of Wausau, doing apartments, and I went around the state finding business and commercial lands that were vacant in lots of different cities. And I could name 10 of them, where I found these pockets of 5 acres next to Walmart, and next to this, and next to that, and he turned them into apartments. Because there was a need for housing in all these small communities, and they didn't realize that they were sitting on something else that could be used for a different use. And until somebody was there that was willing and able to do it, nobody talked about it. Or nobody had the, you know, I guess, risk to take to change and go into these cities and change the zone. This, I look at as very similar. I know there's gonna be residents that live in the condominiums and the single family and all that area that will be against this. They always will. They haven't. But I just think, sometimes, I think people sitting on boards have to have some courage to do what's best. I'm not saying this is the best, but I have the courage to do what's best for their city's future. And if they believe their future is to stay where they are for 20 years and see if commercial comes, I think I'm gonna be gone and still be safe.
Who's done that?
Yes. So it's just, it is what it is. It's Valinsky land. They have some rights. They're not pushing their rights. We know there's conflicts with zoning. We're not here to be, adverse and to make things difficult. We're just looking to see if the city has any potential interest in a different use. I could name or give you lists of all the commercial properties that are up and down that road that still are sitting with signs on them that haven't been developed either.
Does it make any sense that, as Ken just said, we have a large single-family home going in up on the north end, we're also talking about another one, 800 apartments going down on the south end. Does that commercial land become more viable when you add a couple thousand residents to the community? And we'd be sure. I'm just asking, I don't know.
Well, first of all, let's see if all 800 get built, number one. And number two, I don't know if they're gonna travel up to the north end if they want. It's obviously, I think, the only shopping center there is, right?
Yeah,
Right now.
the single-family homes are all up on the north end.
Oh, they are.
150.
34 somewhere there, or 140 somewhere.
140, I think, is what they're shooting for.
Yeah.
And then a smaller
I
development.
thought you were talking the 800
Well, I'm talking that too. That'll bring a lot of people, but the homes are all up on the north end. So,
And just looking at them, it looks like it's a little more of an upscale underground parking, you know.
Yep.
It might be attractive to not everybody that's just looking for an apartment. I mean, that's what it looked like to me.
I guess I would like to know from the city here, why people want to live here. Why are they gonna move when there's over 1,000 units that will be built in the next 5 years? Gotta be a reason. You can't, or is it just you're gonna build them and they're gonna come? I don't know.
I think the demand is traveling down the freeway, and we're finally,
Well, I'll tell you, they're still being built out in Monaco and everywhere else, and we've got things planned there just like everybody else does.
I think the school system has something to do with it, for sure, you know. Yeah, there's reasons to be here, to move here.
Good.
For sure.
I'm glad. And in a not so positive note, I've already told Alan, I don't know if you know this, but we have pulled out of the small lot subdivision.
I know that. Okay.
It's our new leadership, and I would say it's more on a hold than it is not wanting to do it. I drove by the farm today, and if the farm meat processing is gonna be any looks of what I see out there, I'm not very happy.
You wouldn't buy anything there, would you? You wouldn't buy anything there, in other words.
Oh, I know, but I mean, the condition of the parcel right now is,
I understand.
Yeah.
That really hurt us, and we worked hard
So we
fighting against that, but we
should stay on agenda.
okay.
okay. So anyhow, I mean, I'm not saying we're not gonna be on it, but we would like to see that built first. Yes. Any other questions? Because I really don't know what the next step is here.
I guess for me, I'd kind of like to take a wait and see attitude. It's been 20 years, another year won't matter, just to see how that development of single-family homes goes and the apartments, see what changes come. We have had some development up there in the north end, that fitness place and
Yeah,
Taco
we had a
Bell,
fitness center, we had Taco
the
Bell,
coffee shop, Starbucks.
Starbucks, you know, so we have had some movement on commercial in that end.
Oh, and it'll be interesting to keep an eye on the fitness place, because they have 3 other leased.
Yeah,
Right, he's got two to lease.
yeah. So that's my 2 cents then.
Okay. I will let them know that.
If anyone else would like to jump in or?
No, I think that's a good plan.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Are there any general discussion items? Anything? I don't know if Allison's still with us or not.
Oh, there she comes in.
There, she's back. Any
I'm
general
back.
dis- any dis-
No, I don't have anything under general discussion tonight.
And how do the meeting dates of the 4th and the 18th in September look? Are we gonna have meeting both those dates?
We are for sure going to be having a meeting the 18th. I don't know that we have anything for the 4th. We may not be having a meeting.
Okay, good. That's the Thursday after Labor Day. Okay, so, I guess we'll assume, unless we hear otherwise, that there'll be no meeting on the 4th. Okay?
Yep.
Motion to adjourn?
So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.